I'm Bob Wallbridge. Today, I wanted to take the opportunity to talk to you in a way that complements what Colin has given us by way of inspiration, and talk a bit about what it's like to be in public practice and what our culture is. Talk about what's sort of distinct and unique about us, what our wider influence is, and really about this authenticity of place in Hampshire, which Colin touched upon, this sense of place. And just finish with a bit about our identity, about our schools in Hampshire.
I head up a 350-strong design practice, a public practice, and we've got an established national reputation for excellence really in school design. You know, about innovation, creativity, and really about delivery, which has really spanned probably the last 35, 40 years now. And we've got a huge breadth of experience, and in a way we continue to win, you know, kind of every year, our educational and architectural awards. And I think that's really about our design approach for schools. So really it's about this talent, if you like, that I want to talk to you about. It's about good judgment, making the difference, celebrating transformational, inspiring and nurturing learning environments. But actually our success really is all about people. It's about team working, a collaborative approach and a holistic approach in Hampshire. And key to that is that we continue in three roles really. So we're the designer, you know, we're architects, engineers, we're a multidisciplinary team. Interior designers, engineers, cost managers. But more than that, and critically, we also have a role as client. So we look after the assets. We're very close to our educational colleagues, and we're also the landlord. And this sort of legacy for us, really, we've got about £3 billion worth of operational assets in Hampshire. And it's a much broader estate than just buildings. So we include the stewardship of the natural landscape and environment of Hampshire as well. I'd like to say also that we're current and up to date. So we're forward-looking. We work closely, as I say, with our educational colleagues. And we do have this very special relationship in Hampshire with them. So it does put us really at the leading edge of the 21st century school environment. And key to this, I think, is that we believe that our design input and projects are about life-changing moments, really, in learning. And that's from the youngest age, and it can be through music, you know, developing through music, and also through dance. So actually, I've got an image here of the Wessex Dance Academy, which is a programme that we set up with Dance United to transform the lives as young people who are at risk, really, excluded from mainstream schooling. And this has been recognised actually recently in the annual Butler Trust Awards. So I'm just going to go on and talk a bit about what makes us distinct and unique. And as I say, it's about this holistic approach. And in that sense, you know, the inspiration really for us in Hampshire, I think, could be illustrated through the work we do at the Great Hall in Winchester. We conserve the historic building fabric here, but more than that, we celebrate the life in use. So this multidisciplinary approach extends the engagement with the arts. So we have here Anthony Gormley's domain field exhibited there, which really does bring life to the old building.
So I'm very lucky actually, because I have a talented group of creative designers. We often have to think outside the box. So actually one of the things I wanted to show you here was a bus that we designed to deliver some of the children's centres across Hampshire. So we end up with this kind of idea of going outside of the box, driving down into the New Forest and getting to where the people need the service.
So I'm just going to talk a bit now about where our inspiration comes from with our work. And I think it so often comes from an understanding of context. And I'm calling this a sense of authenticity of place. And it's about celebrating a specialness, whether it's an educational philosophy for a learning environment, or some other sense of identity of place, belonging and well-being, cultural or social purpose. So I think what makes us distinctive as a public practice is we have a generosity of spirit and a belief of social purpose, which is to include everybody. So that's the people of Hampshire, and we work with like-minded educationists as well outside of Hampshire, so schools, academies and educational trusts, with the independent sector. So just to come on now to talk about authenticity of place in Hampshire, I think it's fair to say that we really do support the aims of the Children's Trust in Hampshire, so we ensure that all the young people have the best start in life. And that's an agenda for inspired and confident learners. And over more recent years, health and well-being. And for me, the sense of well-being and richness and learning, and actually the memorable moments for a childhood experience, I think often come outside of the classroom. So actually learning through landscape, culture, literature, nature and heritage, I think are key. And just talking then at the end now, just a bit about the identity of Hampshire schools. And really just sort of the approach that we have, I was going to illustrate through primary phase learning. We're now working quite hard to make sure these schools are planned at the hearts of our communities. So this is west of Waterlooville development, and there's 2 schools within those dotted lines that are very visible actually, and they're going to become beacons really of learning and a focal point for the new development. So often really for us it's about placemaking as it is much about centres of learning. And we create schools around courtyards, I think Colin showed you a few of those. And we provide a sense of invitation to the community into the school around those spaces. So I was just going to really finish by saying that it's not always just about new schools. As Colin mentioned, we do have more than probably 200 schools in Hampshire that are actually system-built schools. So that's more than 2,000 buildings. So we're also about creative demolition really and inventive remodelling. Thank you for this morning, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the presentations today.